That's a new inspector's tool, I guess, right?
This is my most used tool. Whole report gets done on that.
Are you enjoying watching people working?
You know that I do. Oh yeah, this is a loud morning. And these guys do this every morning. Gentlemen, if you got one of those wives that wants to repaint your bedroom or an area of the house all the time, these PVC casings are the way to go.
You're definitely a creep.
I'm just trying to get a feel for the space, what's going on downstairs. All right, we're back on a cold and gloomy morning. Thanks a lot for this one, guys. We're in Evergreen, and right now, we're probably looking at 20, 25-year-old windows, some Nailfin, so these guys are just starting to cut them off. I've already got a hot tip that there's an interesting find inside that we're gonna be looking at soon, so we're gonna check that out. It's nice though, because we can assess windows in a different light. It's different in the summer, because everything's warm, everything's dry, so we don't see the moisture buildup that we're seeing here in this window, except for one patio door we saw all summer. But yeah, we're getting a little bit of that here. So clearly some failed seals around the glazing. And then just look at the size of these weep holes. Those are absolutely tiny. So the ability for those to shed water from the inside is very restricted, very limited. On this one, we have a good section here that's all rusted. So again, another sign that water's getting in. And then on the frame, this is from the outside looking in, we can see that there's moisture staining all around this window. So this is definitely allowing a lot of moisture in and out, just transferring right through this window opening.
That's a new inspector's tool, I guess, right?
This is my most used tool. Whole report gets done on that. But yeah, looking at the bottom of this flashing, you can see that there's caulking between the bottom of the window frame and the flashing. So it completely defeats the purpose of the flashing, because this water, or this window, can't shed water when caulking is applied across the bottom of the flashing here, and it's holding all that in. Luckily, this caulking is failing and separating on this window, so that might be providing a little bit of relief for moisture. All right, so we have on the wall here,
It's a bedroom.
in this bedroom, yeah, where people are sleeping 4 feet away, some mold and mildew buildup on the wall. We can see it on the back of these casings, and as these guys start to peel away these windows, we're seeing more signs of mold and mildew buildup all around the frame here. So that's a health concern, as well as, you know, just a performance and thermal that we're normally talking about with window improvements. Look at how black that mold is. Just kidding, it's black trim. That's not the mold. The mold is down here.
Is it wet, the insulation?
No, the insulation itself feels pretty dry. Might be a little different in the corner here, but again, so we got water staining on the frame. We can clearly see how black this is. At the bottom here, this black on the edge isn't the black trim. That is the OSB on the exterior. So that has saturated with moisture, and mold has started to take a strong hold of that OSB layer. So, and then as we move in on the drywall, so we can see it on the inside face of, again, a bedroom. So starting to develop around the frame, and it's, you know, clearly made its way down the wall in behind these baseboards. So there's a lot going on here. That's just crumpling. So it shows you how much that has deteriorated and lost its integrity. So yeah, you can see on the wall, a big mold stain developing. You can even see like the trail of it. So it's gone in at the corner of this window, had moisture that's just been running down this wall, getting into the organic materials here. So we have wood baseboards that essentially provide a food source for mold spores, and then once that gets saturated with moisture, we have a chance for this to develop. And then it's really just, you know, homeowner prevention. When you start to see this stuff, like if you catch it early on, there is topical sprays that you can get to kill and, you know, remove the mold. Mold control is one of them that comes to mind, but you want to be recognizing signs of this right away, and then identifying what the source is, which in this case is failed or poorly installed windows, and get that rectified as soon as possible so that you don't have this situation developing right next to where you're sleeping. There's another window at the side of the house, so in a different location from the ones we looked at that were really infested with mold and mildew. And while this one's in better condition, we can still see that there's signs that moisture has been sitting on the OSB, saturating that. So again, it's good to be preventative about these things and make sure that these windows get sealed up so that we don't have that same development start to occur in this bedroom as well. All right, we've only been here a little over, 25 minutes now, and they've already taken a window out and they're putting their first one back in. So we're doing some quick work this morning. You see too, a little bit of a different style. We have an asymmetrical window, so a little more of a modern option if you don't want that even 50-50 split on a window. You got the smaller section on the left and then your wide opener on the right. So if you've been following, as you should have been, we've seen this installation process a few times now. So we're just fastening the window into the sides of the window frame, getting everything level and flushed out. We see there, shimming up the bottom there. And then once this is fastened, we'll get it fully insulated, sealed, and get our casings back on. We can see got them prepped here in the corner. And we'll probably be done with this window within the first hour of being here today. So, see how that bit of insulation is dirty? That's a good sign that there's airflow that's happening through that location, because it's picking up dust that's airborne. And then as that air transfers, the dust is getting caught on the insulation and leaving remnants. So if you're ever in your attic, it looks very gray and dusty on the top, but then as you get through and if you start ruffling it up, you get all the color back. So you'll see the pink or the white. Yeah, just another small clue that you're getting some air infiltration happening, around these windows in a few spots. So it looks very different than some of these pieces down at the bottom or that section up until there, where we start to get a little bit of air movement that's been happening and some dust that's collecting around the window frame. And just notice this as we pop this window open. So possibly another little spot of mold. Actually, sorry, as I look down here, there's much more. So this frame has accumulated a lot of debris, dirt, and once that starts to accumulate, again, you're getting organic material that's in your frame, and then now that has a chance to be a foundation for mold to develop. When you have a clean metal, vinyl, wood frame that's inorganic and doesn't provide a food source for mold to develop, essentially. Yeah, we have condensation forming around this entire window unit, and right now it's like 1 degree outside. So you can just imagine what this would get like in the winter when it's minus 40, not even minus 40, if it's minus 20 for days on end. That's when you're getting that frost buildup on these windows, and it's potential you sitting here at your kitchen sink and you can't see out into your side yard for weeks on end during the winter here. So again, these are original Nailfin windows, and we are replacing these with brick mold style windows. So what that allows us to do is just cut the flange off of the old windows and put the new brick mold windows in as a replacement without having to take off all the exterior cladding, the trim, and other materials that would increase the scope of a window replacement project significantly. If we did want to replace them with Nailfin, that is an option, but again, we have to take all the trim off and get right down to the sheathing material again, because that's where we're going to be fastening those Nailfin windows to, and we need to hit those structural members to support those, as opposed to going in through the sides of the frame here and supporting the new brick mold windows in that fashion. So, some things to consider, but the brick mold definitely makes the replacement a lot smoother, a lot easier, and it's a recommended way to go for these window replacements. All right, so it's starting to get a little chilly in Calgary right now. We're heading into winter. Right now, we can still open up multiple window frames at once and not be losing a ton of heat to the environment, to the atmosphere. As we move into the winter, we'll still be able to install and replace windows, but we do want to be a little more tactful about how we approach that. So that's where, instead of coming in, ripping out all the windows, losing all the heat in the building, Ecoline will switch their tactics to replace one window at a time to minimize that heat loss in the building. So it's just important to realize that these window installations and replacements are still happening all winter, but there's just a separate mindfulness that will go into that to make sure that we're not freezing out anyone's home, we're not getting, cold pipes or bursting anything. So yeah, window installations year-round essentially are happening with Ecoline.
Are you enjoying watching people working?
You know that I do. So even with some camera faults, a little bit of a lighting issue, we are still recording this within the first hour of being here. So full window out, replaced, and installed under 1 hour. Another important note as we move into winter is that our products have ratings on them for install conditions. So if we're using cheap products, depending on who you go with for a window replacement company, something like your caulking might not be rated for a cold weather install. It can only be rated to 10 degrees. So if you're getting your windows replaced in -20, are they using caulking or sill tape that is rated for those temperatures that's gonna provide that adhesion and is gonna cure at cold temperatures? Those are things we want to consider and be thoughtful of as we're getting into cold weather replacements. I'm pretty confident with Ecoline that they've considered those things, as I know that they do install almost year-round, if not fully year-round.
Till -20.
-20?
Yes.
Okay. So there we go, to -20 degrees, and we'll want products that are rated to that same specification. The original windows on this house are Nailfin style, so that sound you can hear in the background is them cutting the flange off the window. That's gonna make so that the new brick mold windows can just sit in place without having to take off all the trim to access the flange of the Nailfin and yank that off. If we wanted, we could replace, we're crazy right now. If we wanted, we could replace the existing Nailfin with Nailfin windows, but there's a larger scope of work that goes into that. So we have to take off either wood trims and battens, or we're pulling off vinyl siding and J trims so that we can access that sheathing layer underneath and nail our flange to that structure essentially, instead of going in through the side of these brick mold windows to secure them to the frame.
So crazy, man. Can you imagine your morning starts like this?
Imagine what?
Can you imagine your morning starts like this?
Oh yeah, this is a loud morning. And these guys do this every morning. Just looking at another window, this is the opposite side of the house that we have not looked at extensively yet. But again, you see little signs of moisture intrusion. Rusty nails is always one too. So that's a sign that water is sitting again on this sill and it's been getting in the OSB. We can see some markings at different areas of the frame, even up top here where we're getting water. You got a good stain there where maybe some capillary action has drawn that moisture up into the wood frame, and then it's kind of saturated there until it's had a chance to dry out. So kind of throughout the house, we're seeing almost on every window some level of moisture and water ingress occurring. Foaming is in progress. Almost done on this window. So just applying it to the sill now. You can see that that's filling the cavity around the window quite nicely. It's, you know, even poking out past the gypsum, so you know you're getting a full depth coverage there. And then we're gonna pop these PVC casings on with no problem at all. It's just gonna throw them up, rubber mallet, and get those in place. Gentlemen, if you got one of those wives that wants to repaint your bedroom or an area of the house all the time, these PVC casings are the way to go. They just pop off nice and easy. You don't have to worry about, you know, cutting in the edging of your painting or doing taping and any preliminary work. You just take these off the wall. It's easy to paint in behind where, you know, the casing will cover the edge of that painting. And then like adult Lego pieces, they just click back together on the wall and it's good as new again. We got our hung window here. So again, as always, we got smooth operation. We got some nice weather stripping across the top. And that just slides up and down real easy. Nice thing is it's got a good fit, so very customizable in terms of where you let this window sit, how much ventilation you want. You see, I don't have to, you know, use any locking mechanism to try and fit it to a different position. It's very smooth in that respect. And then, of course, with Ecoline, they're always thinking about how we clean these from the inside. So we don't gotta get out, hop on a ladder to, you know, scrub this piece of the window down. We can just pop these little clips out, window comes down, give it a clean so we can see through it again, and then back in, good as new. It's a beautiful hung window there. So turns out that Ian was just doing one of window inspection yesterday, came across the same thing, very expired smoke detector. You can always tell by the discoloration. That's a factory design, so you know it's time to replace it. We're gonna see if it works. Oh, it does. Did Ian's work yesterday? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, maybe they're good past the expiry date. All right, we got another window here again. You can see around the bottom of the opening here, we're getting some mold mildew buildup on the gypsum board. Now again, the nice thing with the PVC casings that just pop on and off is that the homeowner can come back and treat this easily. If we just came and slapped another wood, again, organic material casing against this, then that has a chance to, you know, bind to that and start to spread even further. So the PVC casing offers the homeowner an opportunity to follow this up and actually treat these mold concerns so that they don't just stay hidden forever. We're at the front of the house, again, looking at another basement bedroom. So we got a bed down there, and what they're putting in right now is an egress window. So this is gonna be casement style. It's gonna hinge and swing open. And then once the screen's out, it's gonna provide a clear opening that allows for egress and emergency escape in a fire type situation. So on the basement level here, we're not seeing the same mold development that we saw at the upper level. And the big reason is this cantilevered floor right here. This overhang is gonna be a primary means of preventing water from even hitting this window surface. It's gonna, you know, deflect water. It's gonna drip down this drip edge and kick out away from the foundation here. So thankfully we have nice dry windows with no mold production occurring at this level. All right, these fine gentlemen have simulated our egress situation here. So this, once you pop the screen out, crank this window out all the way, you can see you have this nice clear space to escape from that bedroom in an emergency.
From fire?
From fire.
Or wife.
Or wife. So Sergey here, our cameraman, just asked me a question, and he's been on a lot of installs. So he's asking why there's no weep holes on these windows at the basement level, but there's weep holes up at the upper level here. And the reason is the different style of window, and more importantly, this screen placement. So where we have weep holes up here with our sliders, the screen is on the outside. The screen will let water through, and then it's gonna hit the pane in behind. So water can get in and sit in that track, and it needs a place to escape. Down here on the basement level, we have a casement style, and I got glazing right on the outside. The screen is on the inner plane here. Now, this window, I trust, is weather tight and watertight. So any water that hits this is just gonna shed down the face of the window, and there's no need for weep holes because there's not an area that water is gonna sit. On this window up above here, again, we have water, it's getting in through the screen, it has a place it can potentially sit, so it needs a place to get out. So we're just 2 hours into this installation, and we got 8 windows completely wrapped up. Quick math, that's 15 minutes per window. So we'll see if you can hold them to that. But just look, like these 2 windows right here, this space already feels so new and so fresh, and it's gonna be very exciting for the homeowner to come in and just see a revitalized space. Like, this area is just looking great. So yeah, it might be the new windows make this space look so fresh. Could also be these nice fresh casings. I think if we went and put the old casings on, the wood ones, that just wouldn't have that same impact when you're coming into this space. So this is a nice finishing touch to go with the PVC casing on these windows. All right, this sign's gonna be gone very soon because these gentlemen are almost finished with this install. You can see we've got a complete facelift here, inside and out, and we got to look at a couple different areas. One was the mold, which we have to really acknowledge that this is an opportunity that having this window replacement opened up. If it wasn't for these windows, we might not have pulled that dresser back. We wouldn't have taken old windows out, and we wouldn't have discovered that there's that potential health concern that's existing in a lot of these sleeping areas and living spaces. On top of that, we looked at some egress window situations and how that's being addressed by Ecoline and how they can help with that. This is another pristine window replacement with Ecoline, certified by Chris, your Calgary Home Inspector.